Yo guys, it's Mr. Vince, and today we're going to do a full review on a vehicle called the Sloop. That will be my first ever overview of a vehicle in Jailbreak. So what is the Sloop exactly? Well, I'm going to explain after I talk about this. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to leave a like if you guys want to see some cool content. It would help me a lot. And for subscribing, it would help me a lot. And it would try to make me hit about 700 subscribers by the end of summer. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never have to miss a video. And also, if you guys are kind of curious, the new update just got released last night where they fixed the earthquake skin, so now it actually fits with a lot of vehicles. So that's good and all. It used to be stretchy, now it's actually fit, so that's good. Yes, and along with the update, they also updated where a lot of weapons now have camera lock, which will be kind of disappointing on mobile, but still pretty nice, as you can see. Now, some weapons like the road spike and the key card just don't have the support, but these weapons like the pistol, they do, and there's no more recoil, which I think is kind of interesting. But that's not what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to be talking about the big boy pirate ship, the Sloop. And is it actually a good vehicle? Well, the simple question is this vehicle worth trying, buying, using, etc.? Well, I'm going to answer that question by the end of this video, so stay tuned. So the Sloop is 1 million cash, and you have to go inside of the pirate hideout to actually access the Sloop, which is actually beside the jetpack in the canyon, which is not that hard to find. If you know where you're going, it's by the power plant, so it's not that hard. Now, the Sloop is the largest vehicle in Jailbreak, and it's about twice as big as the Army helicopter. So that's really big for a vehicle. But as you can tell, there are problems. The Sloop is the second vehicle in Jailbreak to not allow customization, the first being the Cruiser. Both of these vehicles were added in the April 2020 live event update. And as expected, both of them were, of course, watercrafts, which I think is actually pretty interesting. But it's pretty neat getting more watercrafts since the jet ski was added 2 years ago. But the Sloop is much more underwhelming than every other vehicle in the game. So let me go ahead and explain. So the Sloop is kind of glitchy right now because sometimes the front part of the Sloop could get stuck and you're forced to get off. Make sure that it doesn't, collide like that. Which is a problem, but it's fine if you know what you're doing. And also, locking your vehicle is kind of stressful because sometimes the Sloop could spawn and would just be pretty hard to get out of the pirate hideout if you don't know what you're doing. It is the slowest vehicle in the game in terms of top speed, about half as slow as the stunt plane, which is at the airport, as everyone knows and loves. And it has a very cool interior, but it cannot be customized, as I stated earlier in the video. Now, if you do the premium garage trick where you get inside the vehicle with this enabled, and you go to customize or saves, nothing appears, because you are not able to customize any of the Sloop. And as a bonus, it is the only vehicle to contain wood as its main material. Every other vehicle is either made out of glass or metal. So that's pretty interesting that this vehicle is the only vehicle to be made out of wood instead of the usual glass or rarely metal. So that's really interesting. And the sails are actually made out of concrete, but the lanterns are actually made out of neon, as expected. And I'm not sure if it emits a glow. I think it does. If you look pretty closely, it kind of does. Now, what about some good things about the Sloop, you may be asking? Well, the first cool and beneficial one is actually the ability to do the skydiving glitch. Because if you get on the very tip of the Sloop, you are able to do the skydiving glitch, which I think is actually pretty neat. And this will allow you to easily escape police officers if they're nearby. And now, if you land on the sloop while doing the glitch, you will normally get back up, and you will sometimes stay immune to ragdolling. But if you fall on the wrong part of the sloop and you just hit the floor of the water, then you're going to ragdoll. So please do not hit the floor in the process, because you will ragdoll, so keep in mind. And the sloop is more likely to rotate when it's idle, because that's how physics work in Jailbreak, I guess. Now, of course, not all the time you'll be able to keep up, but if you land on a sloop while doing the skydiving glitch, you are pretty much immune to ragdolling. So that is actually one of the coolest things about the sloop, and I don't think anyone has actually knew about this before, because you can land on the sloop and you will not ragdoll, which I think is actually pretty neat. So another cool beneficial thing about the sloop is actually the Flying Dutchman variant. Now, the thing is, you need to make sure it is raining for it to happen, because, well, rain causes like some nasty moss around the sails and all that, and since there's thunder, that's probably why it happens. How do you get this Easter egg exactly? Well, after May 3rd, 2020, you are now able to find this Easter egg. You just need to get a sloop, which again is 1 million cash, making it among the most expensive in the game. Just, of course, tied with other vehicles like the monster truck and the Volt bike and the army helicopter and a jet. And you just simply have to drive over to this Alcatraz island. You do not need to be in the sloop for it to transform, I believe. Just be by the shipwreck, and you will be able to transform it into the Flying Dutchman variant. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys because it's not raining at the moment. But if I can, then that would be pretty neat, and of course, it would work out pretty well. Just to make sure that, you guys keep up. If you go to the Jailbreak Wiki, you can find more information about the sloop, and it would be pretty neat. The color would be green, and it would look really different. The sails would just be more mossy, and it would just look worse, as you can tell. And of course, it would just make the sloop look really neat because of the Flying Dutchman variant. So that's something you can do, and that is another benefit for the sloop. However, there are actually a couple of negative benefits for the sloop. And there are a couple which I can explain. So let's go ahead and ragdoll and just get back into sloop. So the first and the biggest negative to the sloop is actually the, problem with it being stuck on land. So if you do not know, sloop cannot drive on land. And because of this, if you get stuck on land, the sloop will be stuck. And there are a couple ways to avoid this. All you have to do is to either push the sloop to prevent itself from being stuck, use a different vehicle like the army helicopter to tow it, or use a vehicle like the roadster or the torpedo to get it out of the land, or just hardly drive this vehicle at the right direction and it would get off of land. And if you guys are kind of curious, can players push the sloop? Well, oddly enough, they can. So if you are someone who does not like the sloop being stuck, then players can barely push the sloop. Not that easy though, but it is possible to push the sloop as an ordinary player, and that is a way to get it off of land. However, if it's actually stuck on land, then there is no way you can get it out. So another negative with the sloop is that, well, it cannot be towed easily. Although sometimes it works, but it depends on your luck base. So, of course, how do you tow the sloop? It's self-explanatory. Get a helicopter and just use the rope on the sloop and you'll be able to tow it, right? However, that doesn't work all the time. This is an intentional bug and not a feature. You are supposed to be able to tow pretty much every vehicle except for a couple. But the sloop, not really. It's one of the vehicles that can't easily be towed. And another thing is, if you spawn a vehicle with a sloop, if you driven the sloop and then you spawn a vehicle, it does not despawn, unlike most other vehicles. So I spawned the vault and the sloop did not despawn. It will still despawn within a couple minutes though, so you gotta go quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself a helicopter to show you guys what I mean about the problem with towing the sloop. So if we go ahead and climb up here, and also I just noticed there's purple light in the bank. I do not know why. And there's big red light on the exit of one of the exits of the bank. So that's kind of weird, but okay. So let's go ahead and grab the little bird, and let's go ahead and bring it to the cool little sloop. Now, unfortunately, you need to make sure you get in the vehicle frequently, or else it will despawn. Since the despawn system does not allow players to easily keep the sloop permanently if you do not enter the driver's seat. And, of course, I probably did it wrong, and the sloop sometimes glitches players out. But there you go. Get in the sloop, and the despawn timer will reset so it doesn't instantly despawn, which is a good thing. And fortunately, my little bird actually got unlocked, so that's good. So let me go ahead and rope, and as you can see, that's kind of weird. Let me try again. Now, of course, I was lucky, so I am able to tow the sloop. But sometimes you would actually get stuck, it would glitch, and the only way to fix this is to get off your helicopter. But for me, I got lucky enough to actually tow the sloop. And you can make a Flying Dutchman out of this, which I think is pretty cool. Now, before the towing feature was added in the cargo ship update, which was last year, you actually needed to do a different way to tow the sloop. By having one of the helicopter tails poking on, of course, one of the sides of the sloop, and you'll be able to tow it anywhere you like, which is a lot harder than it is today, since you can easily tow the sloop. And now you can just bring it to the prison, and you can just basically block people from entering the prison or just escaping it, which I think is pretty bad for people who don't like trolls. But if you just like to troll, then probably a good option for you. But honestly, it's pretty disrespectful in my honest opinion. But again, it's for you guys to do if you're just making fun of your friends and your friends like it, and it's just like fun rampage, am I right? So of course that is another bad beneficial, but if you are able to tow it like I did, then that is a good benefit for you guys. And I forgot to mention it because, well, that's something you can do. Another bad benefit for the sloop is the fact that it cannot easily be driven on water because, well, the waterways are just really, thin and narrow, which makes it really hard for the sloop to drive on water if you're not on the ocean. But if you're in, like, this part, then it could be a little easier, but once again, because you can get stuck on land, it will be harder to drive the sloop. So it's always recommended that you drive on big lakes or oceans, and you'll be able to travel with ease. The last benefit that could be a negative is the stats of the sloop. Most of the stats of the sloop are not that good. Top speed is the most notable of them all because it's the worst of any vehicle in the game. No matter what. It's 1 million and it's the worst, as everyone has suggested. So, of course, we also have reverse speed, which is not as good, but it is better than the Teslas. But we also have launch acceleration, not bad either, but they're not the worst, I would say. It's about in the mid-range of all the vehicles in the game, so it's pretty good. And then we have, of course, braking, and that's pretty sluggish, like fire truck and monster truck, I guess you wanna suggest. But yes, you can tell it's pretty good and bad at the same time. So it's, pretty good. And also I noticed that the hitbox is really big. Because of this, the rope could sometimes be off, and hopefully they patch it, because it's kind of weird for the rope to be like not touching the sloop properly. So I hope they fix this, but it's fine nevertheless. And also, you cannot tow the very front of the sloop, and you have to be right here for it to work, which I think is kind of crazy, but at the same time, it's something that they have to do for collisions, I guess. Unless if they get the handle with vehicles, then sure, they can just fix it and change it, I guess. Now, another thing that could be true is that you can stand on the very top of the sloop, and you can easily avoid all the missiles of the cargo ship. And maybe the turret of the military base, unless, if they know what to do. But it's very hard for that to happen because it easily targets you. And as you can see, that Sloop just despawned, so have to force myself to grab a nether. But I was able to do the skydiving glitch because of the little bird. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. The biggest question is it worth getting the vehicle? The answer is no. Now, unless if you're a role player or someone who likes to troll and tow it, then it should be recommended. If you're collecting the vehicle, you will be able to like keep it permanently. And I bought it because I like collecting, am I right? A lot of people like collecting, so that's probably why I bought the vehicle. Now, of course, will it retire? Well, it depends. It may retire, but I highly doubt because it's a water vehicle and water vehicles cannot be spawned. Thus, it has to be almost impossible for vehicles to retire if they only drive on water. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Make sure you subscribe so we can hit up to 700 subscribers, or else I'm gonna die touching the wind turbine. So please don't make that happen. And hit the bell icon to never miss a video that you might enjoy. And as always, my name is Mr. Vince. Have a great day, and I'm going to see you guys in the level 7 reward next video.